Hey everybody, Michael Ball here, better known as Ballsy in Regina and surrounding area, coming to you from the Regina Sports Performance Center. Thanks to Aubrey Stedman and his crew for allowing us to be here, and thanks to the SaskTel football program for allowing us to share some of the time on the turf here to shoot this intro to our inaugural Top 50 CanWest show. We're trying to mimic the NFL, but obviously we don't have the budget of the Shield. Nevertheless, we're going to reveal the top 50 players in the CanWest over a 10-part series. So each week, over 10 weeks, we'll reveal 5 players and 1 best of the rest. So in essence, it's a top 60. Now, if you made the list, congratulations, you deserve it. If you didn't make the list, I still respect every student athlete that plays CanWest football. It is a grind and you all deserve praise. And that's really why I wanted to start this thing. We do not promote Canadian talent enough. I try to do it on my local podcast called Growing the Game with Ballsy, where we promote Saskatchewan football from the amateur level all the way to the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the pros. But we want to focus on grassroots football. We need to promote the stars of tomorrow today, like these guys here with the SaskTel football program, and we're doing it here at the CanWest level. Now, just like the NFL Top 100, we'll show some highlights, and we're also going to interview the players. Although, because it's a pandemic, we have to do it over Zoom. So without further ado, let's roll the tape. This is the Top 50 CanWest show. All right, here with Ram slotback Bennett, Stusek. Bennett, how long, first of all, can I see the hair? Is it still long? You show,
yeah, it's still long, it's just tucked behind.
Yeah, just tucked behind. How long have you had the long hair?
Grade 7, so would that be? I don't know. 7 years, 8 years? I don't know.
That's hilarious. How did you decide to get long hair? Was it a because I know your brother Carter's got long hair. Was it a competition, a brotherly competition?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of ironic. My one auntie is a hairdresser, and so she always gives us shit. But I don't know. It's just I like the look of it, so I just never cut my hair. I guess I don't know.
That's awesome. Have you ever been tackled by your hair?
I have actually. In high school, grade 12, I did. It hurts. It's like getting horse collared, but it's not a penalty. So. Did you consider cutting your hair after that? No, it's part of the consequences, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. I guess you live by the sword, die by the sword. Yeah, Is it kind of like, would it be like taking away your strength if I cut your hair, like Samson?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'd be slower if you cut my hair.
You think it'd be faster, more aerodynamic, right?
Yeah, maybe, true.
So do you get your hair from your mom?
Yeah, certainly not my dad.
Yeah. No kidding. Hey, I've asked you this before on my podcast, but I'll ask you in this form. What's it like being on the same team as your dad? He's coached you a long time, but how about at the university rank?
Yeah, it's kind of always the same as it's always been. Like, he's been my coach for so long. So I don't know, I'm used to it now, I guess. Someone I can come home after practice and we can talk extra film or what should I have done. So it's nice to have someone to lean on like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm so used to it now.
It's just your life, right?
Yeah.
You pick up any hobbies or anything, do anything different in the pandemic besides football, like read a book or do anything else?
Not a lot of reading.
No? You're not a reader guy? You got enough in school?
Yeah, doing just school, and then I picked up golf last summer, actually, which I really enjoyed. So just because we didn't have training camp or training or anything, so we were quarantined out at our cabin, and we golfed basically every day. Did you have to buy clubs? I had an old set, and I got one of my dad's friends gifted me some, but yeah.
Is there anything about golf that's better than football?
I would say the being by yourself in a way. Like, I love being on a team with football, but just playing a sport where it's just you, it's really just a mental battle. Like, I think I enjoy that part of the game where you don't have to rely on 11 other guys, where it's just you have to hit the ball straight.
Yeah, that's nice. 2018, you started as a slot back for the team. First 7 games of the CanWest Conference, including against Calgary, which made you the first true freshman to ever start for the Rams. Did you know that? And did you remember your very first game?
I remember going out right before we were leaving the tunnel my first game, and I was told I was going to start, and I was super excited, obviously. And then I went out and played that first snap, and then I came off, and McConkey had told me, and I don't know, it was crazy. But yeah, I don't know, it's weird going in as a 18-year-old, 150-pound kid going into university football playing against 25-year-old grown men. So I'd say it's a lot of nerves, but once you get into it, it's just football at the end of the day. You go hit somebody, it's the same as hitting anybody else.
Good point. Have you gotten bigger? Like, have you spent time in the weight room? You got to watch that as a receiver, because a lot of your game is shiftiness and quickness. So you don't want to take a lot of that away, but have you done anything to help yourself grow a little bit? Yeah, that's been nice about the pandemic is we don't have a lot of team activity. So it's on you to work out, get bigger. So that's, like you said, it's a delicate balance, because I don't want to be, if I gain 20 bad pounds, I lose speed, and then I'm hurting myself regardless. So it's kind of been a balance, trying to put on weight as much as I can. And I have since, I guess, the start of the pandemic, but yeah, just putting on weight, but trying to keep my speed, I think is. I like your mental toughness, because you're a smaller guy, a guy after my own heart, a guy that is playing against bigger guys, and you said older guys. I remember one game in 2019, hard to believe that's the last time we played. You make a great move, you're wide open, and the ball hits you in the head and goes to the ground. And I thought, oh no, how is this kid going to respond? But you actually, it was kind of like a redemption. He came back, made a big play, moved the sticks, and kind of let that go. Is that something you're born with, or is that something you developed? Just kind of that mental toughness. Oh, and do you remember that play? Yeah, believe me, I don't know if I'm ever going to forget that play. But yeah, no, I don't know if it's born with it. I think that's one thing that I was taught really early, like by McConkey and my dad and all the coaches. I think they always next play. And obviously you get mad at yourself, but it's especially nice when you can go out the next play and make a big play to kind of redeem yourself. So in that scenario, it was good. But yeah, just next play mentality, I'd say. What's your best attribute as a receiver, in your opinion? I'd say probably my route running. I think I'm really quick in and out of my routes. That's why I can get a lot of separation. You really evolved your game in the second year. What do you feel you did to go from year one to year two? Does the game slow down the more reps you get and the more comfortable you are? 100%. I think coming out of high school, like I've always been a good, smart kid. So I picked up the playbook pretty well, but we have such a complicated playbook going into year two, having that whole off season to just really run through reps, know every conversion, every concept and everything. That really helped me, just because I was just playing. I wasn't thinking anymore. And I don't think I was bad at that my rookie year, but that second year, I think I was going out there playing, making plays instead of thinking about what to do. How much of a leadership role are you taking on? Like, it's you and Borsma are probably the two big targets this year going into this year. If hopefully, cross our fingers, we have a season. And you guys are going to take over because you lose Shinbine and a couple of veteran guys. But just put yourself in a young kid's shoes right now. Like, he doesn't get what you have because of the pandemic, big, thick playbook. How much can you help and be a leader in this tough pandemic time for some of the young guys, maybe in Zoom meetings or things like that? Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of trying to do as much team activities as we can, and then us as receivers have been getting together a couple times just to, I don't know, ask for help, homework, whatever. So I think it's really going to come down to I think me, Borsma, and Dallin, I think, are the three big leaders. Yeah. And losing a guy like Shinbine, who was such a leader in the room, is obviously hard to. I don't know if I'm ever going to be a Shinbine or Borsma is, but I think collectively we can kind of make that up and just roll together as a group. Yeah. How much do you think having a Borsa back this year is going to help this offense out? Believe me, you should see him in throwing right now. He is it's looking scary. Yeah, that's awesome. How much when you watch a guy like that who's been away from the game for a while, longer than any of you because he had the suspension, how much does that drive you to want to get better when you watch a guy like that? Because he is a machine. He doesn't really take any time off. Yeah, no, it gets you to work or think about working more. Like, example, last week we had throwing at 11, just a small group of receivers. He was there. I came in 20 minutes early, was warming up. Kyle was squatting upstairs, and then when he comes down, he's throwing, and then we're leaving, and he went back up to lift after we were done. Where just a guy,
I don't know, he never stops working, and you gotta admire him for that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you got the Laboldus quarterback in Donnelly, the receiver Stusek from Campbell, two South End Regina guys, rival schools, always in the mix for the championship. Were you guys always buddies? Talk about that chemistry.
Yeah, no, Josh is my guy. Well, we played basketball, I think, growing up together, like through high school and club basketball. Like that's kind of where I got to know him. And then U16, obviously, U18. So it was never like a big Laboldus Campbell, I think, because we'd played together so much already going into high school and stuff. So I don't know, just having Josh there, knowing like the trust we have with each other is so big. And just having, I guess, 4 more years for Josh, 3 more years for me. Having a quarterback like that who is the smartest guy in the room and trust that the receiver is going to make the plays, that's so huge for us.
Okay, so give me to wrap up, give me one realistic goal for this football team if you play in 2021, and one realistic goal for Bennett Stusek personally.
Win the Hardy Cup is the goal, and that's been our goal since our season got canceled. So one focus is everything's toward the Hardy Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And individually, I would say like CanWest first team, but if we're 8-0 and I have 100 yards receiving, makes no difference to me.
I think it's fair to say, though, if you're 8-0, you and Boersma have to be a big part, and you probably will be an all-star if you're 8-0, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hey, Bennett, thanks for this, man. Take care, and I'm glad you're on the list. Can't wait to see you on a football field.
Awesome. Thanks, Ballsy.
How about Giovanni Manu? What can you tell me about him?
You know, Gio's probably one of our, as an O-lineman, probably one of our best athletes on the team. I think he's about 6'7", maybe 340. I think he has over a 30-inch vertical. He's super, super athletic. I think has all the physical traits, all the tools to even be an NFL player. Sometimes I watch him, just on the film and be like, man, like we're just so lucky to even have this guy on our team, because he should probably be at Alabama or something. So I think for him, it's just going to be, obviously consistency. He hasn't played in a year. He's still really young. I think he might have just turned 20. But the sky is truly the limit for him. And, I think in 2 years or whenever his draft comes up, you're definitely going to hear a lot of NFL buzz about him.
All right, here with U of A Golden Bear, Donovan Burgmaier. Donovan, what are you taking in school?
I'm taking a combined degree with Native Studies and Secondary Education.
Okay, describe to me what it's like a day in the life of Donovan Burgmaier, the student athlete. What in a normal world, if you're not in a COVID world, but in a normal football day kind of world for you, what's it like?
Yeah, like usually kick off a normal day, just kind of eating breakfast and then go get a nice hour lift in right before, get some mobility and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then usually just 6-7 hours of class study and stuff like that right before like practice or anything kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. What are your goals off the football field in life once you're done at the U of A?
Honestly, I just want to become a teacher, obviously, and then kind of some goals, just get involved with the community as much as possible, kind of give back, whether that's coaching or being in mentorship or anything like that. Just most important is just getting involved with the community.
Where did that mentality come from, getting involved with the community?
I just had a lot of people that were mentors in my life that obviously gave back to me, and I just feel like it's important to pay it forward to the younger generations for sure.
Can you give me a couple of names that have kind of influenced you, either in the football world or just in your personal life in general?
For sure, my younger brother for sure has been one of the guys that helps me as a mentor for sure, and then just a couple past coaches, Jeff Piper. One of the guys for the Edmonton Huskies. He was a big influence in my life, as well as my current D-line coaches, Curtis Pankow and Brent Cordy.
Hey, you talked about junior football, and that's great. A lot of guys in this list played junior football. What's the biggest difference going from junior football to USPORTS football?
Honestly, just athleticism, competition, just bigger, stronger, faster, Mm-hmm. Everyone, I would say, just a lot more commitment
So besides foot field, Donovan, what's your, I don't know how much you traveled in your earlier time here with the Golden Bears, but besides foot field, what's your favorite CanWest venue to play at?
It's got to be UBC Thunderbirds Stadium for sure.
Yeah,
definitely the best place.
Now, do you like it just because it's Vancouver and the setting, or do you like the grimy stadium? And I don't know if you guys had a lot of fans, but I know when I broadcast the Rams games, they usually go on homecoming week, and there are a lot of fans. What do you like best about UBC?
Honestly, I'd say a little bit of both. The Vancouver weather and everything is usually pretty good because it's usually cold in Alberta, but I definitely love the griminess of it for sure. Like the locker room and stuff like that, just major throwback for sure.
It feels like football, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way.
How long have you been playing football, Donovan?
I've been playing probably about 10, 11 years.
Okay, and what got you into the game of football?
You know, my parents just needed me to play some sports, so I think football was one of the ways to get me out of the house, and then kind of just turned into me loving the game for sure.
Were you always a defensive guy?
No, actually I wasn't. I played receiver for 5 or 6 years actually during Pee Wee Bantam and a little bit of high school.
What made you switch to the defensive side of the ball? And I'm going to assume you like to be the hammer, not the nail. So what do you like best about the defensive side?
Probably just being the hammer, man, and not the nail. I don't like getting hit, that's for sure. I like doing the hitting and kind of just the whole part of the defense in general. You know, we're all out there and being dogs and trying to hit as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So can you describe your game for people that haven't watched? How would you describe Donovan Burgmaier's game? Give us a scouting report.
You know, I think it's just kind of not taking crap from no one. You know, I like to go out there and think of myself as the best player I could possibly be, and that no one else can stop me. So it's like, I just want to go out there and beat the crap out of anyone possible.
That's great. I love it. Hey, your coach, Chris Moore, says you definitely have the skills to play at the CFL level. How do you react when you hear something like that?
You know, it makes me feel good that my coach has the confidence in myself, and then kind of just allows me to be confident as well and keep developing my skills as much as possible, because obviously he sees that in me. So it kind of helps me push towards that goal.
Is that something that you would like to do? I know you talked about community service and being a teacher, but you're still a young man. You got great athleticism. Would you like to? Have you always dreamt of playing pro football? Would you like to give it a shot, maybe, if that opportunity presents itself?
No, absolutely. You know, this is my main goal, you know, ever since taking a few years off and going back to junior football and coming to the U of A eventually, like that's my main goal, is to play professional football, obviously, aside from graduating school and doing all that other stuff.
Yeah. So he tells me you've got a great wingspan. How does that help you in the trenches? How does that wingspan help you, Donovan?
Allows me to create great separation between me and the offensive lineman, and I'm able to use my strength and stuff like that to play off of them and just be able to make plays in general.
So he was telling me that you've really been working on your pass rushing moves, and that's really what's got to get you to the next level. So what is your best pass rushing move right now if we were to watch you?
Honestly, I'd say my best move is probably, I'd say one or two, a dip and rip off the edge, or a nice inside spin for sure.
Yeah, he told me one of your best attributes too, and do you agree with this, is the way you don't get hooked. You don't get hooked at the line of scrimmage, so the dip and rip, and you also do a good job of bleeding plays to the sidelines. Is that kind of your mentality as a dog? Just as you said, just kind of get help from your buddies as you kind of snuff the play out sideline to sideline.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, just wherever I can get involved is just the best I can do.
So do you have a season goal? Hopefully you get on the field, no doubt about that. But let's be optimistic that you guys will play in the fall. What was your personal season goal? Everybody wants to win a Vanier Cup. We know that. You'd say that for sure.
For sure.
But what is your personal goal? Did you have any set?
Yeah, honestly, my personal goal is to lead CanWest and sacks for sure, and get that All-Canadian, obviously, on the way to helping the team win a Vanier Cup.
Donovan, thanks for this, man. We're happy you're on the list, and we can't wait to see you on the football field, bud.
For sure. Thank you very much.
All right, here with our Rams defensive back, Jaxon Ford. I don't know, do I call you safety? Do I call you halfback? You did both.
I mean, I can play both, but I prefer safety.
Yeah. Yeah, you like that? You like that? Why do you like safety better?
Gives me more range to move around the field and go left, right down the middle.
Yeah.
More time to make plays.
Mm-hmm. So, what's your best attribute? What makes you a good safety? Because you have been real good for the Rams since coming over from camp.
I'd say my intelligence and my ability to read the offense. That just comes through film and just, preparation.
Were you always a student of the game, or is it something you've kind of even taken to another level during this pandemic? I've talked to a lot of guys. They say, I'm watching a lot of film, identifying where I can get better, where I was pretty strong.
Well, we are meeting quite a bit over Zoom and stuff with Vincent and defensive backs and stuff, watching film. And we're just kind of going back over the basics and just making sure that everybody really knows that what we're doing and what's the objective of the defense.
Yeah. How tough is this long off season, which has seemed to go on for 10 years here? How tough has it been on you?
It's definitely been a challenge, but I think if we can just stay positive, be able to persevere and come back stronger as a team.
How do you stay positive? What do you do to manage the stress and try to stay upbeat?
Work out very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Upper body, lower body? What part of the body do you like to work out?
I like doing lower body the most.
Do you?
A lot of guys will say chest, but I like squatting.
Well, I tell you what, that's the money makers. Your legs is a money maker, especially if you're trying, going sideline to sideline.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, how big of an influence? People see the last name. Yes, it is true. Al Ford is your grandfather. How much has he played into your football journey and helping you out?
Very majorly, I would say. He comes to every practice, whether it's cold, raining, doesn't matter. He's always there, showing up, supporting the Rams and myself. And after every practice or game, he's always got some sort of tip for me. So I can definitely always learn from the great one.
What's the best piece of advice he's given you, either in football or in life to this point?
The best piece of advice: stay humble, and also never show that you're tired. Sometimes I used to put my hands up here or on the hips. He told me a story when he was on the riders that they used to make him run laps if you put your hands on your hips. So that'll teach you not to be tired.
Nice. So how do you hide that? Like, I know you're not going to physically do that, but you're still tired. So how do you hide that? What do you do?
Be a man. Don't show it.
That's the absolute best. How much, and a lot of people would know, some wouldn't. Your father passed away a few years ago. How much did he and the people around you help you get through that? Like, that couldn't have been tough, or couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard, but more of anything, my mom, she's just been such a great leader in my life and helped me persevere. And she definitely shaped the person I am today.
What do you want to do away from football? I know you're in the kinesiology area. What are your goals off the field, Jackson?
So I actually switched degrees. Okay. I'm getting a double bachelor degree. I'm getting bachelor degree of business administration and sport recreational management.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to, have a successful career in football, and wherever that takes me, it's great. But hopefully I can stay involved in the game and come back and maybe be a coach or work on the business side of things.
So you're telling me you want to be the next Al Ford and bail the CFL out?
I mean, that'd be pretty sweet, but I think I'm going to make my own journey.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, so but let's talk about that, because your dad has been your grandfather has been instrumental in helping save this league on a number of fronts, and in the forefront. What do you make of what's going on here with the CFL and the XFL and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, there's lots of talk with that, and I know that The Rock, doesn't he own the XFL or whatever, the XFL?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see any emergence happening. I've talked to my grandpa, and he also doesn't really see anything happening. There's too many flaws with the rules and just stadiums and whatnot. So I don't think anything's going to happen. But I think that the CFL will be able to come back strong, and everything will be okay.
Okay, so what have you done besides football, besides studying in this long off season? Have you picked up any hobbies, done anything that you haven't really had the time to do because you've always been, the student athlete? You have a little bit maybe more time in your hands. I know a couple of your teammates have picked up a harmonica, learned how to play a guitar. Boersma picked up a guitar. I think it was Bittner that told me he's done the whole harmonica thing. You got anything reading or anything like that?
I'm trying to think. Comic books. I've definitely grown fond of comic books.
Really?
Yeah, but other than that, everything's kind of same old with me. I'm pretty
was that something you liked back when you were younger, comic books?
Yeah, I enjoyed them, but not as much as I do now. I recently just read Batman or Superman Red Sun, and that was a phenomenal one. I really enjoyed that.
Really? Like it the writing and everything, the graphics, all top notch?
It was top notch. I loved it. The ending really got me.
Awesome, man. Okay, that's a neat little tidbit. Okay, Jackson Ford, I want a personal goal for you this year and one for your team.
Personal goal for me is to finish as CanWest All-Star. Felt last year I just finished short of that, so I think this year it's the goal I can achieve. And for my team, to win a Vanier Cup this year or whatever. Yeah. To the championship here.
Kind of weird, eh? Because we don't even know if we'll get to play. Like, that's the thing, is we tape this, we don't know exactly what the future is. We're very hopeful you'll get to play, but we don't know how far you'll get to play. Will it be a regular season? Will it be a 5-game season? Will there be just the conference championship? How much does that, like, that uncertainty, how much does that weigh on you? Or do you just block that out and you're just praying against all prayers that you can get to some sort of competitive thing on a field?
So yeah, like that's outside of my control. There's no sense dwelling on who's going to make that decision or what's going to happen. My main focus is just to get better right now, bigger, faster, stronger, and just stay connected with my team as much as possible, whether that's over Zoom or in our leadership meetings or whatnot. Just stay positive and have a positive mindset.
Well, Jackson, that's outstanding. We got to learn some great things about you. Congratulations on making the list, and I'm looking forward to seeing you add to your highlight tape in 2021.
Thank you very much for having me.
And now we're speaking with Alberta Golden Bears linebacker Jason Brown. Jason with 2 S's. That's some neat spelling of the name, Jason.
Yeah, I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I guess they can't spell. Something happened there.
How many times have you had to correct somebody for spelling your name wrong? Probably a million.
Oh, I've had people tell me that I've spelled it wrong. I've gone to a doctor's office. They'll come back with a piece of paper. They're like, "Hey, man, you spelled your name wrong." It's like, pretty sure I didn't.
It's my name. Jason, former Defensive Player of the Year for the Canadian Junior Football League back, I believe, 2017 with the Edmonton Huskies. How much did junior football help you get ready for university football? Did it?
So much. So when I first got into junior football, I was working full time for the first 3 years, working a construction job, masonry, just as a laborer.
Yeah.
So that'll teach you about work ethic real quick. Working a 10-hour day, hauling bricks, mixing mud, mixing mortar, just hard work, and then going to football after, like, it'll teaches you a lot of discipline. And with junior too is you don't have a lot of these facilities available to you. So like at the Bears, it's like we can run on our field and we can walk over to the gym. At junior, you don't. Like you have to really, for me at least, you have to really be self-sufficient in finding places to run, especially in the winter, and finding time to lift. So just a lot of the aspects related to like working hard and all that stuff really helped me.
Why did you go the junior route to start, if I don't mind asking?
To be quite frank, no one wanted me out of high school. I got talked to by one team. They offered me to walk on, but outside of that, there wasn't a lot of interest. And Ian McLean from the Huskies, he's no longer the head coach. He moved, but he had a really the Huskies and the high school team I played for have a really close relationship. So it was just kind of a natural extension of where I was.
You're a Spruce Grove, Alberta guy, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so do you think the reason nobody wanted you is because you're 5'7" standing on and hey, I say this is a 5'8" guy, okay? You're 5'7" at best, 195, 200 pounds, little undersized. You think that was, and nothing you can control, but you think that was really the knock against you?
The biggest knock coming out of high school, it was my own fault, was I was way too heavy, right? Like my first year at Huskies, I was 240 pounds. Like,
wow.
So it's not a mystery why I wasn't recruited. I still played well in high school and all that, but like coaches don't really look at a short, heavy guy. Like they look at that and they're like, well, what's the ceiling, right? So
yeah. Okay.
It's my own fault I didn't get recruited.
Yeah, I love the candid comments there. So when I talked to Coach Morris, he said you're a guy that flies around and you're one of those guys you can't measure intangibles. Heart, determination, you're off the charts. How does it make you feel when he says something like that?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, it's nice to get a compliment. It's nice to hear those things, but I think that just comes down to leveraging skills, right? Like I'm not the biggest. I play fast, but I'm not going to run a blazing 40, right? So I think that's just what's available to me to leverage.
You know, this is how I would describe you, like a Colton Kloss and like a couple of other guys. And I think I even talked to Kelvin McCarty recently in an interview I did, former Eskimos fullback / running back. If I look up guys like that in the football dictionary, okay, a Neil Hughes, a former Rider and Ram, I see football player. I put you in that category, Jason Brown, football player. I think that's a pretty good compliment. Would you see it like that?
I'd agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, I've had great coaches in the past too. Like high school, I got taught, just an example, I got taught how to read lines in high school. And when I went to junior, I realized that not a lot of the linebackers coming in had the same experience. So I had a lot of people along the way really help me out.
So what is your best attribute then? You said you don't run a blazing 40. You obviously aren't imposing in terms of size, but what is Jason Brown's biggest attribute? Because I know in talking to Coach Morris, he said they're looking for you with the new D coordinator, Tom Higgins, to be a focal point of the defense. So what do you feel is your best attribute?
Nose for the ball. I've always just been able to get myself in a position to be around the ball somehow, some way. So, and as a linebacker, I think that's one of the best things you can be, is just getting yourself to the ball no matter where it goes.
Are you a good communicator? Because you seem like you would be. Like on the field, are you a good communicator?
Depends who you ask. I can get a little fired up on the field. So,
but is that good? I think that's good, isn't it?
I think it's good most of the time. Sometimes I have to take a beat and calm down, all that stuff. But as a communicator, I'd say I'm pretty good.
Are you a student of the game? Like, do you do a lot of film work, or is a lot of your nose for the ball anticipation? Because I just actually watched the 30 for 30 with Junior Seau, the former Chargers, New England Patriots, Dolphins linebacker, Hall of Famer. And they say his anticipation was off the charts. Now, I don't know if you could teach that. Is your anticipation just something that comes naturally, or do you teach yourself that by, being a good student of the game?
I love the X and O. I love the strategies. I watch a lot of film. I really do study. So I don't know if I have the perfect answer. I don't know if I have the perfect answer to that. But what I can say is I do put my best foot forward with pregame preparation and getting into the film, trying to recognize patterns and stuff. So, maybe it's a bit of both. I don't really know.
What do you like best about the game of football, Jason?
I don't know. There's a lot of the competition, I guess, which is a pretty standard answer. It feels great to win. It feels great to put a lot of hard work in and have a positive result at the end to see the accomplishment through competition.
That's a good way to put it, because I don't think people realize, especially student athletes, you're studying, you're putting in a full-time job there, then you're practicing, lifting weights, trying to eat right, do all that stuff during the season, take care of your body. There's a lot that goes into a week when you get ready for a game, right? And that's why guys take losses hard and celebrate the victory too.
Yeah, it can be tough, especially when with school, it's like sometimes you just get a week where you're like, Jesus, I got X amount of assignments, I got 2 midterms, all that stuff. So it can be really hard.
Mm-hmm. What are you taking in school? What are you taking in school, Jason?
I'm in the Bachelor of Science, major in biology, minor in psychology.
So you went from being a bricks and mortar guy and junior football player to being a student and football player. How was the transition for you in terms of time management and
and all that stuff with school and football?
It's a lot easier, to be honest.
Yeah.
School allows you a lot more flexibility. You can do things when you need to do them, especially online school, like with asynchronous options and stuff like that. It's like I can just go, hey, I got a bunch of stuff I got to take care of. I'll do some extra work on the weekend. With work, you're kind of just stuck into the box of this is what I'm doing for 8 to 10 hours, whatever it is. So I actually find it a lot easier, to be quite frank.
Yeah, that's neat. You talked about the Alberta Golden Bears, or at least you talked about winning and losing. There haven't been a heck of a lot of wins in Alberta, but I know from my own recruiting experience with my son, Chris Morris runs a good program there. He's trying to do it his way with academics and sports kind of being equal, if not weight a little more to academics. So he's looking for a certain type of athlete. But do you feel like you're getting closer on the field to being a more consistent football team, winning football team there?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely. Yeah. Like the University of Alberta has done a great job recruiting in recent years. Like we've got a lot of great recruits coming in, and also the coaches around, right? Like we had a change for our defensive coordinator, but it's Tom Higgins, so we're in a good spot. And of course, Rick Walters on the offensive side of the ball is fantastic too. Yeah. So just having that, just really having solid coordinators to kind of guide the different phases. And of course, Smith Wright's a great special teams coach too. Yeah. Having those coordinators guide the different phases of football, I think will really help build consistency throughout the coming years.
Will the defense look differently? How does your responsibility or role, change in this, Jason, between, from Greg Knox to Tom Higgins?
Yeah, so they're about as polar opposite as they can possibly be, and they're both fantastic. They're both fantastic, but you watch our defensive system from last year, and it's like we were all over the place. If I was an offensive coordinator looking at us, a lot of times it'd be like, what are these guys doing? They got their whole front seven lined up off the ball and then they're crashing into us, doing all these crazy things. Yeah. So that was Knox. Now we go to Higgins, who's much different, much more detail oriented, much more on the fundamentals and doing every little thing right. So they're wildly different perspectives, but they both work if they're implemented correctly, which, Knox's style of defense fit his personality too, right? He was a little unorthodox person. He's a little bit of a mad scientist, right? Yeah. So now we move to Higgins, who himself is much more detail oriented person. It fits his personality. So it's more about the implementation. So it'll be wildly different, but it'll be implemented well.
Which system do you think will fit you better without being in Tom Higgins' system totally because you haven't played in the game? Which system do you think you prefer fits your style better?
For me personally,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a tough question because being short, some of the things I was asked to do last year was tough because it was a lot of, normally like how I've always played was I can just make line reads and fly the ball. Last year was a lot of playing cutback, so I have to physically be able to see the running back, which is very, very tough when you got 6-7 guys in front of you. So I don't know. I think Higgins' defense will help me because it'll allow me to just focus on my reads and this stuff.
Yeah.
But also the blitzing style of defense we had last year, I was able to excel in some of those positions. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah. So which opposition player not on your team, do you, I don't know if enjoy watching's the best way to put it, but which one do you have the most respect for, opposition player in the league? It might be a tough one to answer, but I've asked other guys this. Is there somebody where you're like, oh, this is going to be a long afternoon?
Oh, no. There's great players, right? Like you go, like you look at the U of S's O line, you look at that and you're like, all right, these are some big boys. This is a rough and tumble game, but I've never looked and been like, oh man, like I'm really worried about this.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe worry's not the right way to put it, because obviously you don't want to tell your opponent I'm worried about you. But when you go onto the field, you have a lot of respect for this player. Is there one individual you look for, like a Mackard or a Borsa, or is there somebody UBC or Bill Pott at UFC?
Actually, one lineman that gave me the most trouble last year was, I can't remember his name. It was Calgary's center. Okay. I can't forget his name, but Yeah, I'd say Calgary center was a very good alignment from last year. Very good with his hands. Very, very strong.
Yeah.
He'd clamp onto you, wouldn't let you go. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll say him.
Okay. So last question for you. Do you have your own personal goal for the 2021 season? Besides Hardy Cup, team stuff I get. Everybody's going to say that. What's Jason Brown's personal goal for the 2021 season?
Isn't the only goal winning a Vanier Cup?
What do you want to do to get your team to that point? Because everybody has to take care of their own business on the team to get to that point. So as an integral part of the defense, what do you have any goals set for yourself?
To do everything in my power to make the people around me better. If that is in the weight room, being older, I have more experience in the weight room. If that's helping young guys in the weight room, if that's helping show young guys the ropes of how to prepare for a game, if that's not identifying problems like, oof, we're a little fuzzy on this area, let's go sort it out. So I guess just just constantly helping the people around me get better.
Very selfless, studious, and smart answer. Appreciate that, Jason. I appreciate your time. I'm really hoping to see you in Alberta green and gold this coming fall. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations being on our list.
Hey, thank you.
All right, Big Rodeem Brown. As we tape this, you're studying for finals. How have the exams been going?
So far, so good. Took 2, and I got 3 more to go. The first 2 went by pretty nicely. So
yeah. So you said like the time allotted is 3 hours. Okay, it's been a long time since I've gone to school. Do you use up all the time?
For some classes, yeah, you need it.
Are you sweating it at the end?
maybe the last one. I have organic chemistry coming up. Pretty nervous about that one.
Okay, so organic chemistry?
Yes.
What is organic chemistry? Tell a dumb radio / social media guy what organic chemistry is.
It's mostly just talking about the mechanisms of how molecules interact with one another. Pretty in-depth stuff.
Okay, so so basically what you're saying is it's way above my head. There's no point in me even telling you, Ballsy, right? That's what you're saying, Rodeem, right?
I'm trying my best to comprehend it myself. So.
Hey, Rodeem, what is your degree in?
So science and kinesiology, basically, it's a more advanced science course, but just more of the human body, stuff like that.
So see, I knew when I went into radio, it was sports and fart and booby jokes. Okay, what is your what's your end game? What do you want to do?
Well, with this, I kind of want to go to physiotherapy, but if that doesn't end up working out, I might go into something with education.
Okay, so how big are you?
I'm 6'2", 280.
6'2", 280. So I'm just talking to you now. We met. Do you remember the first time we met, by the way?
I'm trying to remember it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so my son and I, April of 2019, we rolled through your dorm on a recruiting trip. It was our very first recruiting trip, and we saw you look like a little prison cell. You got this little bed, you got these, you hang your clothes, and you got a common area. Did you like living in the dorm?
I actually did enjoy dorms, but it was definitely a 1-year thing.
Yeah, so I see you're not in a dorm now. Where are you living now?
I'm living with a couple of roommates from dorms, actually, as well as my girlfriend.
Yeah, so my son's in North Dakota, and that's what he's doing now. He's moving out of the dorm into with 3 other buddies. So what's the toughest thing living with other people?
Well, actually, my second year, I moved in with 6 people. So it's a pretty big house in a small space. It was tough getting the cleaning stuff down. I'm a very clean person. I love having my things organized. Mm-hmm. And it was almost impossible. So we downsized. I live with 3 others now.
Okay, so if you got to give up one, if you got to have one area that is a must to be clean, you got to choose between the kitchen or the bathroom. What are you choosing?
I want to say the bathroom.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than a gross bathroom, eh?
Exactly.
How often you wash your sheets, Big Rodeem Brown?
I want to say every Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, Sunday?
Yeah. Sunday's
my deal too. Every Sunday I'm a sheet guy. Football, hockey, baseball, whatever. It's easier to wash sheets when you're watching baseball. So this is boring. Rodeem, back to, I kind of got sidetracked here. Do you consider yourself a gentle giant? You seem like kind of a gentle, soft soul off the field. Do you think you're a gentle giant?
I hear that a lot, and yeah, I think I've started to take that role.
Yeah, you're taking that role. So, but do you like to kick ass on the field? Like, is there a switch that goes off for you?
Of course. I think football is the best release to just like get any other like frustration you're having out of the field. It's just, it's great.
Yeah. What's your favorite play to run as an offensive lineman? Like, do you like pulling? Is there a trap play? What do you like? What's your favorite play of yours?
I like pulls, but I think I love outside zone, outside run. Probably one of my favorite, just because I get to use my speed, and on the D lineman, O line, it's not much. There's not much chance you get to use it. So.
Yeah, that's true. So, what's your favorite thing about playing O line? Because I've said this many times. It's a weird position, the weirdest position in North American team sports. It's one where you sacrifice yourself for the glory of others.
Yeah, it is an honorless role sometimes, but I love doing it just because the guys who play on the line, everyone who plays on the line knows their responsibility. And it's just such a tight-knit group to have such a bunch of guys doing the same job. It's just a great atmosphere to be in.
Rodeem, what's your best attribute as an offensive lineman? Besides being 6'2", 280, you can't teach size. But besides that, what's your best attribute?
My best attribute, I want to say, is consistency. And I try my hardest to be consistent. I think that's the most important thing as an O-lineman. You don't want to have good plays sometimes, a bad play sometimes. You always want to be constantly good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's consistency is a great way to put it, and a great thing to achieve or try to achieve. How much has Coach Princeton helped you out?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How much has Coach Morris, a guy who played in the CFL, Coach Princeton, how much have they helped you out?
Oh, tremendously. I would not be where I am without them. They've given me so much opportunity to grow and just giving myself challenges to work towards and become a better player. Their knowledge, it's incredible, and it's helped me so much as a player.
What's the best piece of advice you received from either one of them so far early on in your career?
From Coach Morris, I definitely, as simple as it sounds, it's just hand extension on pass blocks. You never think about it as an O-lineman. Sometimes, as a high school guy who got in a couple bad habits, trying to flash your hands as a pump fake, that doesn't work.
No.
Always keep your arms extended and play strong.
Is there somebody off the top of your head that you enjoy going against in the conference, or that you're in for a long day? You're gonna, I gotta match this guy step for step. Is there somebody that pops off the radar at you?
Not specifically name, but team, I want to say Calgary. Calgary always keeps me on my toes, no matter what.
Yeah, they're pretty tough in the interior of that line, for sure. You have a goal for yourself this year, personally?
My goal, just to really increase my bench press. I feel like, especially with everything being shut down all the time, not having access to many gyms, I just wanted to make sure I can maintain and reach my goals in the gym.
Got a nice smile, so it looks like you have a positive demeanor, buddy, but has it been tough on you? What have you done to try to get yourself through this, besides schoolwork and knee-deep in schoolwork? What have you done to try to get through this pandemic and being away from football for so long? Not having that outlet to release the energy, like you said.
Yeah, honestly, spending a lot of time with my friends and family. It's been, of course, we can't be in person, but over the internet and online, there's a lot of things you can connect other people with. So I reach to those, just games, FaceTimes, and just texting.
You have a favorite game you like to play?
Favorite game? I play a bunch of Warzone with my buddies, some Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Everybody's COD. Everybody's caught. The Olympics just announced that they're adding, or they just recently announced they're going to have a virtual sports Olympics before the actual Olympics. You got to play a sports game to win an Olympic medal, which, by the way, I think is lame, to be honest with you. You're a young guy. Do you think that's lame, or do you think that's cool?
I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I guess I'm old. Anyway, if you had to play a sports game to win an Olympic medal, what sports game would you play?
Probably 2K, basketball.
Yeah?
Yes.
Who's your team?
I don't really have a team, but I watch more basketball than I do football, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
At 6'2", 280 pounds, were you a basketball player too?
I played basketball through high school, but I was never any good. I couldn't dribble, but I just loved the sport.
What do you like about this? Do you like basketball better than football?
I don't know if I could say one is better than the other, but I thoroughly enjoyed them.
What do you like about basketball?
I love basketball because it's a smaller team and you really get to know everyone, as well as just like the gameplay. I love the gameplay. It's really fast paced. Usually doesn't stop often.
Who's your favorite guy to watch? Who's must-see TV for you in the basketball world?
I don't really have any favorite players. I was really into Toronto, obviously, when they were on their championship run, but no specific guys.
Gee, that's boring, man. You don't have a team or a guy. So like you'll just sit down and watch the Sacramento Kings and the Charlotte Hornets?
Oh, of course.
That's crazy, man. What else have you done? Have you picked up any hobbies or learned anything about yourself during this time? Because they always say, don't waste a crisis. Now, I know you're a student athlete. You got lots of work to do school-wise, but have you learned anything about yourself or done any self-improvement or picked up any hobbies or anything like that?
Self-improvement. I read a couple books. I usually never read books, so I don't have the time, but I read a book called The 4 Agreements, and it's just really about self-worth and understanding your personal importance. And that stuff, I learned a lot about that. I think it means a lot to me.
Okay.
I learned a bit from that book.
That's awesome. Okay, last question. What makes Rodeem Brown important? What did you learn about your self-importance?
I just need, okay, so it's really hard. And I wrote a little speech on it too, just for school.
Yeah.
But it was mainly just saying, make sure you know your personal worth without the influence of others' opinions, because you can get so caught up in other people's words that you kind of lose who you are as a person. And you just have to make sure you can come back to yourself and know who you are.
You know what? That's really good. That's good advice. And in this day and age where, you know, I got bullied as a young kid, but at least when I went home, I got away from it, right? Like you got to be with your family, whatever. But now with social media and Twitter and Instagram, and you can't ever really get away from that criticism if you don't, you know. Yeah, it's tough. Hey, thanks for this, man. I really appreciate it. Love that smile. Can't wait to see you out in the field, man. Hopefully we got something going here in 2021, bud.
Thank you so much for reaching out to me. It was an honor just talking to you. It was really nice.
Well, thanks for checking out the first episode of our Top 50 CanWest Football Show. I want to thank Aubrey Stedman and the gang here at the Regina Sports Performance Center for letting us be here. Zelko Stefanovic and the Saselex football program for being our talent in behind the scenes. And I want to thank Eric Cox, my production assistant, for doing all the work, all the grunt work behind the scenes. Coming up next week, make sure you tune in because we're going to have 4 defensive players and 2 offensive players to check out. I'm Michael Ball, and you've been watching the Top 50 CanWest Show.